Another important feature to work on in order to improve your thermal indicators, such as the heat in demand, is the envelope composition, such as walls, the roof, the slab. Let me remind you that once you have launched your model and have chosen the right building configuration, ArchiWizard will suggest coherent scenarios and building envelope performances, including the composition of walls and the thermal performances of the glaze openings. So for example, the current chosen configuration is a new concrete-based residential building. Since it is a new construction, ArchiWizard will fill in the composition with concrete elements that are insulated with a certain thickness. It is then up to you to accept those compositions or to change it if you have something else in mind. So for the purpose of this study, I'm going to be opening the envelope composition. To do so, I'm going to click here and you should see generated this tab. So here you'll find all your envelope composition informations. And you should see your envelope composition into different categories, such as walls, roofs, and floors. And in each category, you will find subcategories, such as the walls that are exposed to unheated spaces, the walls that are exposed to the exterior environment. For roofs, for example, flat roofs, pitched roofs, and the floors, upper floor that are exposed to unheated spaces, etc. In each subcategory, you will find different groups. Each group is categorized by its own composition. So for example, if you have different compositions for external walls, you should create as many groups as you have in compositions. So now let us check what ArchiWizard have suggested for us for this type of composition. If I position myself into the exterior walls, I should see here my composition. So it is a 30 centimeter thickness wall that is composed of the following elements: 18 centimeter thickness of concrete, 10 centimeter of that is glass wool, and plasterboard. For the roof, I have this following composition: asphalt, an insulation, which is polyurethane, concrete, and then plasterboard. And for my lower floor that is exposed to the exterior environment, which is the ground, I have 20 centimeters of reinforced concrete and insulation, which is extruded polystyrene, 10 centimeters. Note that you can create your own composition by duplicating some already existing composition. You can change each layer of the composition and add some more layers or materials from the project library. Note that you have an extensive library that you can use and add some more materials. For each composition and each layer, you can change the thickness of this layer, and that will help you test more impact on the heat and demand, for example. So now that we understood how the envelope configurator in ArchiWizard works, how the different envelope composition is categorized in ArchiWizard, how to change composition, how to duplicate materials and change the thickness, let us do a simulation or a case study in which we were going to raise the insulation of the external walls to 20 centimeters and see the effect it has on the heat in demand. For the sake of this simulation, I was positioned in the upper zone results, and now we're going to focus on the whole building. So now I'm going to position myself into the exterior walls. The composition was as follows. It was an 18 centimeter concrete, some 10 centimeters of glass wool, and 2 centimeters of plasterboard. The goal now is to change the thickness and to raise it into 20 centimeters. For this, I'm going to click here and I'm going to position myself into the the correct layer. So now I'm going to raise it into 20 centimeters, and the goal is to see the impact it has on the heating demand. So it is calculated. I've seen that I have reduced 1 kilowatt hour per meter square of heating demand by raising the thickness of 10 centimeters. I would conclude that gaining a kilowatt hour per meter square for 10 extra centimeters is not that cost effective, as I already had a good insulation. So this simulation helps you, for example, take decisions on your insulation level. Another thing you could do for the sake of this automation of your envelope is to create your own configuration for all the elements of the categories. Save it and use it each time you start on your new project. ArchiWizard recognizes the categories and will apply your configuration on the right elements. Moving on to the thermal bridges. So for the thermal bridges that are generated, note that it is calculated automatically, so nothing is asked from the user on that part. The software detects the type of contact between the constructional elements and generates coherent thermal bridges according to the French governmental official catalog based on the relative French thermal bridges norms. If you want to change the value of a certain thermal bridge, you can click and change manually the values.